Yes. Oh God, he says, right? When camera goes live, he says, oh God. This is Chris Gonzalez here on our PM Live, switching it up tonight. I'm here with Phil Kogan at Plaza Honda. Say hello, Phil.
How's it going? How's it going, everybody?
What do you do here at Plaza Honda?
I am the sales manager at Plaza Honda for 4 years now.
He is the sales manager, and he's responsible for everything that takes place in the place. So here we are recapping tonight how our day went, what our strategy was like, and how we held ourselves accountable to production as well as our staff. So it's 8:06. We close at about 9 o'clock, and Phil is now recapping the day to see where he is and seeing if his staff, his salespeople and BDC reps kept up with their daily tasks. Now, some of the things that we hold them accountable to are phone calls. So Phil, share with us how you hold your staff accountable to phone calls. What are some of the steps that you take?
So one thing we require for our staff to stay productive is for them to make at least 25 phone calls a day, which will generate some appointments and create their own business. So for example, today, if a salesperson didn't do 25 phone calls, let's say they did 15 phone calls, then tomorrow they're going to be responsible for doing 35 phone calls.
They're going to go into the chokey.
Yes.
We beat them up. We beat them up tonight, and then tomorrow we punish them. No, we don't. We don't do that. We don't have to do that because what do you do and what do you keep track of every single day, Phil?
Well, we have something called a daily log, which is kind of breaks up our day into quarters. So it goes from 9 in the morning till 12 in the afternoon, 3, and then 6. And every one of those hours we fill in kind of where we are for the day, and it kind of gives us a feel of the pulse of the store. We can see how many phone calls were made, how BDC is doing, how many deals were written by our sales guys, so on and so forth. And we kind of see where we're falling short throughout the day as we go, so we could go back and touch on the weak links and the weak points of the day at a certain hour.
Thank you. So I'm just going to elaborate on that. What Phil is describing is a daily log that the managers are responsible to update every 3 hours. So it starts at 9 a.m. It kind of gives you the pulse of the place. How many cars we have out, how much income was generated, new and used, how many appointments we have set up for the day, how many deliveries we have scheduled, and how many appointments were made by sales and BDC. So what he does is he documents all that information at 9 o'clock, and then at, say, 12, he has to update that log. So now what happens at 12, if those numbers from 9 o'clock haven't changed, Phil or Troy or any manager knows they have to get up and kind of get the troops riled up. So it dials them back into the business every 3 to 4 hours. So we do it at 9, 12, 3, 6, and when we close. So it dials the manager back to the business, keeps him on track, tells him where his staff is, and when production is not where it should be, it triggers him to get up and get people motivated. So as far as calls, how do you hold them accountable? So do you just walk up to your salesperson and say, hey, have you made your 25 calls, or do you dive into your CRM or into a call source?
Well, we have a call source. It's called Interactive Tell.
Tell.
Basically, it's linked up to all our sales guys by extension. And I could log in at any time and see exactly how many phone calls were produced by any given sales rep at any given time. I could listen to the phone calls. I could see the duration of the phone calls. I could see the quality of the phone calls. If they made 10 phone calls and they're each 20 seconds long, then I know they didn't speak to anybody. They kind of just dialed the number. So I could kind of track that. And if somebody's falling short throughout the day, I could sit down with them.
So you're tracking calls and you're tracking the amount of time, the minutes that each call took, or an average of all calls. And it kind of gives you an idea if they're spending the time actually getting in contact with people and talking to them.
Yes.
Like it, love it, gotta have it. So able to keep them on task with what they're doing as far as phone calls. What are some of the other tools that we use here to keep and hold our staff accountable?
The CRM is definitely one of our main tools. We like to go back daily to see any unsold deals from the day before, and kind of get with the sales guys to go over them, see what we could do to keep the deals together that may be falling apart or not, not easy, perfect deals that may require a little bit more tender love and care, as they say. And we use the CRM to track all that stuff and kind of keep in touch with our guys to go over everything.
So you I know there's a dashboard organizers, which show how many phone calls they should make, how many emails they should send. And so you can view this dashboard on your...
I could view it. It gives them reminders of like follow-up phone calls, 1-day follow-up, 3-day follow-up, 10-day follow-up, referrals, birthdays, car anniversaries. So that's kind of like how I like them to start the day, is go into their organizer and kind of clean out anything that that they have pending there, any kind of...
Now you say clean out. Is that just kind of like out of sight, out of mind? Just do it?
No, I mean, it gives you fairly straightforward instructions on what needs to be done. Once you open it, it tells you, hey, you got to call this customer and wish them a happy birthday. Today's their birthday, so you just got to keep it clean. If you don't do it daily, it starts adding up, and that's when it becomes difficult. So the key is to do it daily so that you're not backed up, and all you got to do is just concentrate on that day. You don't have to go back to the previous day and see what you missed. That's what I mean by clean it out daily. Go into your log and clean it up.
Now, we had a meeting with Auto Alert today, right? What do we go over with Auto Alert?
So Auto Alert is another tool that we use.
We're live, Kevin. Come on, want to sit down with us? So this is Kevin Weeks. Kevin Weeks is one of our business managers, and you know they don't like to be on camera. So you saw him, now he's gone. But no, he just finished up a delivery. So Auto Alert, great tool or so-so?
It's a great tool. It's definitely a great tool to also kind of another form of the CRM, but kind of dives in.
I think it's a CRM on steroids.
Yes,
I mean, it shows us what customers are in equity, what customers are coming due on leases, if their warranty is expiring, what have you. A lot of information is given there. It defines a lot. It creates alerts. And what are some of the things that we went over today?
So one of the things that I liked is they have a category that's for M, which is mileage, which is not something you find typically like in a CRM or whatnot. It gives you a list of all the customers who still have their lease and they're already over their miles. So it's very, I want to say, easy, kind of engaging that customer. They're already concerned that they're going to be paying for extra miles, and we can kind of call them and help them get out of that car early where they don't have a large bill for the miles.
So what Auto Alert does is it creates a strategy for your phone calls. For instance, he's mentioning mileage. So calling a customer that is over their mileage, that's a great hook to engage them in a conversation to say, hey, I see you're going over on mileage, perhaps extending your service contract to make sure you're covered when you come into service. But more so, let's get you out of that higher mileage car and get you into something with less miles and move forward. So another great place to conquest vehicles out of service. I mean, dealers today are running to the auctions to buy cars. And if you're a dealer and you're listening to this, we're paying top dollar for these. I would prefer to pay top dollar to the consumer and acquire a vehicle that I know the service history on in my service drive. And I like to encourage people not to approach it from a sales standpoint, but from a acquire standpoint. So I'm only interested in buying the car, not necessarily selling a new one. That might happen by default, but I would be just as successful buying a car off the drive as I would selling them a new car directly off the floor. So buying a car, I get to sell one, but if I could buy a car and sell them one, it's 2 for 1. So my profit opportunity doubles when I acquire a car out of my service drive. Plus, I know I do well with them because I probably sold the car and I'm servicing it. So I know the history of that vehicle. So fantastic point, bringing up Auto Alert, especially on the mileage tip, leases, as well as those people that are in equity. The other thing it does, you could set up parameters, and let's say I have a customer that's not necessarily in equity, but there's an opportunity because sometimes I have vehicles in my inventory that have a tremendous amount of incentives where I'm able to offset that. So I might have a customer that's paying a $400, $500, $600 payment where I can maybe save them $50 to $100 a month and get them into something new. It's win-win for both sides. So the consumer saves money monthly and we earn their business and we retain them as a customer. So everybody wins. So just recap now, you're ending your day, you're going through your daily log, you're seeing how many phone calls were made, how many ups came through the door, how many deals we wrote, and how many cars we delivered and what the gross is like. What are some of the things that you look for and what do you like to see happen tomorrow?
Well, first thing, I definitely want to see that we hit all our daily goals. So, for instance, our monthly goal right now is just out of our showroom. We're looking to deliver at least 8 cars per day. Today looks like we're gonna, unless within the next 44 minutes we could, snatch up another deal. Other than that, it looks like we're gonna fall 1 short, which just means that we got to add it to tomorrow's number. So tomorrow's goal is 8, it becomes 9 because we fell 1 unit short today.
Well, let me ask you a question. If we're looking at this right now and it's 8:16 and we're 1 car shy of my goal, what could we do right now?
Like I said,
I'm putting Phil on the spot, right? Because it's, there's an hour here and I've sold a car in 20 minutes or it's taken me 20 hours, right? In the next 44 minutes, what could we accomplish if we knew right now that we might fall short of our objective by 1 unit?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is obviously phones. Get back with some customers that we might have that we weren't able to sell maybe yesterday, today. See if we could maybe put a quick deal over the phone, take a deposit, something like that.
So one of our viewers is actually saying, sell yourself a car. I like the way you think, Enrique, which I think I'm going to put Phil into a car today, right? Because we're not going to fall short of our objective today because we have 44 minutes to make that happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to page all customers to the showroom to complete a purchase, right? No, but listen, the bottom line is if you're inspecting what you expect, you can control the outcome. You could seed your success. And that's the point of going through these checks and balances. And I like the term he used when he said, check the pulse of the place. I mean, that's ultimately what we're looking to do. Make sure that we're operating right. We're breathing properly. Our heart's pumping the way it should. We have proper circulation, right? And we have the environment to thrive. If those all things align, we can do business. Hello, Janelle. How are you? Nice to see you on live here. Gerardo, thanks for joining. I saw Anthony Schmidt. I even saw El Patron on here. We got Brian Carroll. Let us know what business you're in because I promise you some key principles that we're going over tonight in this business, we could help you relate to the business you're in. So you don't necessarily have to be in automotive, but same principles can apply to any business out there. It's really just knowing what's expected of yourself, knowing what's expected of your staff, managing your time properly, being goal-driven and process-oriented, and just take the steps necessary to get yourself to where you want to go, right? And if you're falling short at any capacity, if you're dialing yourself back to your business, you can usually find out where you're falling short, make the necessary tweaks, and make it all happen for yourself. So, are we going to hit that 9th car?
8th car, yes.
8th car. We're going to hit that 8th car. So, Phil might have to get off the live right now to get out there and drum up 1 deal. I mean, come on, 1 deal is easy. 1 deal is real easy. Actually, I saw something on Facebook earlier, and I had you run leases, right? So Stan Scher is actually looking for a Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, Hyundai Sonata, or Kia Optima for himself or someone, right? We can make that deal tonight, all right? What can we do on this car? Accord LX, first payment up, Jersey deal, 10,000 miles. Can we get under 300?
Yes, we could do it. Tonight, for our last deal, we could do it.
Can we do 289?
Pushing it a little bit, but yes, we could make that work.
289, Stan Sure. You got a Honda Accord LX 2019 with 10,000 miles. Janelle, thank you so much for showing up every single day. You do put a smile on my face. I appreciate you. Enrique, you still got the Acura store. Hey, come on. We're not selling Acuras tonight. We're selling Hondas. Right, Dexter? Correct. We're selling Hondas. Dexter, come on over here. We got Dexter is one of our top salespeople. He heard me just present the deal, and his ears puckered up, and he's ready to go live. Dexter, come say hello to everyone. You got Phil is out of the hot seat.
Hey,
we now got Dexter here.
Guys. Thank you.
At Plaza Honda. And Dexter is
How you guys doing today?
Hey, how are you?
How many years with Honda?
10 years.
10 years with Honda. He is a product specialist. Who's giving you hearts? And look at this. They're going nuts with you here. Somebody really loves Dexter. But Dexter is the walk-around king. What he does best is present vehicles. And he talks about the frame of the vehicles. And just explain how you explain the frame, because I love it.
Well, All Hondas have what's called the ace body structure, which is a subframe which is underneath the regular unibody frame of a vehicle. And the way how this subframe is engineered, they use little small tubes which transfer the energy from one side of the vehicle to the other side of the vehicle in case of a crash. Per se, if somebody runs into you in the back of the vehicle, those tubes are going to absorb that energy and pass it along to the other side of the vehicle. How I actually demonstrate this.
So I notice I handed Dex a piece of paper. This is my favorite part.
A regular unibody frame is made of a flat piece of metal. Now, something that's flat is dexterous. That means it can bend. Now, if you take that same material and roll it into a tube, it's not this wide as this piece of paper. They're micro tubes. If you roll it like this, that same material now becomes hard. So, and there's a small little hole in those micro tubes which absorbs the energy of that actual crash and passes it along to the other side of the vehicle. And that's what Honda has above everybody else, which is called the ace body structure.
Ace body structure. And it's tougher to bend because it's round.
Exactly.
But it transfers the energy of an impact through these tubes and out the rear for frontal impact. So I love it when Dexter explains that. So Dexter has been here over 10 years, and Stan Scher, we're going to get him online, and Dexter's going to help Stan Scher sell his Honda Accord LX that we just gave him for $289 a month with 10,000 miles. A Jersey deal, no games, no gimmicks. It's $289 with first payment. We're covering your DMV. Anything else you'd like to say to them, Dexter?
Wow. Good night and have a great night.
Good night. One last thing. Dexter's the king at follow-up. So when customers come in, Dexter does an amazing job at following up with these people. So if we couldn't do a deal last night, Dexter is calling you back today to touch base, to invite you back here today to finalize the deal. He's not calling you to find out if you got something or if we did better, would you come in? He's calling you back because the way we let you out is how, Dexter?
We let you out at a number that we could actually get you to buy a vehicle.
We can do, right? Mm-hmm. And that's close to not being a deal, but it is a deal. We just make it happen. Exactly. Right, Dex?
Correct.
So here we are signing off. I'm hearing an echo back there. So listen, you guys have a great night. Prepare today for tomorrow, all right? If you fail a plan, you plan to fail. You guys be great.